This is the PiXL PP paper for GCSE Mathematics, Edexcel style, Foundation Tier Paper 2F. You may use a calculator in this paper. Write down the value of 5 in 14.25. Well, the 5 is here, are 2 places after the decimal point. So this is the hundredths column, so it's 5 over 100. So the value is 5 hundredths. Here is a list of 6 numbers. Which factor in the list is not a factor of 48? Well, you might want to list initially the factors of 48. 1 multiplied by 48, 2 multiplied by 24, 3 multiplied by 16, 4 multiplied by 12, and 6 multiplied by 8. Having a look here, we can see that the 7 is not a factor of 48. Write 0.73 as a fraction. Here we have 7 and 3 after the decimal point. This means we have 73 hundredths. So 73 over 100. Simplify. Here we have 4a subtract 1a is 3a. Add 3a is equal to 6a. First we multiply our numbers together. 5 and 9 multiplied is 45. We then multiply the t and y together by writing them together, ty. Here we have 1j to the power 2, and here we have 2j to the power 2. So altogether we have 3j to the power 2, 3j squared. A shop sells notepads at different prices. The cheapest notepad in the shop costs 63p each. The more expensive notepad costs £1. Ahmed buys 6 notepads from the shop. He pays with a £10 note. If Ahmed buys 6 of the cheapest, so the ones that cost 63p each, how much change should Ahmed get? So on your calculator, you need to type in 6 multiplied by 63 or 6 multiplied by 0.63. This is the same amount expressed in pounds. So you're going to get here 378 pence or 3.78 pounds. These are equal. We're going to subtract from £10. So £10 subtract £3.78 will give us the change, which is £6.22. Instead of buying the cheapest notepad, Ahmed buys 7 of the more expensive, so the ones that cost £1 each. He still pays with a £10 note. How does this affect the amount of change he should get? Well, now he's going to get less change. And you can work it out here that he's going to have 7 multiplied by £1 will give us a total of 7. So if he's paying with a £10 note, his change will only be £3. So he's going to get less change. Tracy and Joanne have saved a total of £568 for their skiing holiday. Joanne saved £52 more than Tracy. How much did Joanne save? Well, the first step is to look at the total and subtract the 52, the difference. So 568 subtract 52 is equal to 516. We can then divide by 2 to find the amount each for Joanne and Tracy before the extra part for Joanne is 258. So we have Joanne and Tracy, and Joanne has £52 more, so we add 52. So this here then is the total for Joanne which is £310. Work out 45% of £80. Well, a percentage is out of 100, so we need to do 45 divided by 100 multiplied by 80. Putting that into your calculator gives you the amount of £36. Here are 4 fractions. Write these fractions in order of size. Start with the smallest fraction. We can see here that the denominators are different. We need to make equivalent fractions all with the same denominator. Looking at the numbers we've been given, 2, 36, 6 and 18, the lowest common multiple is 36. Therefore, let's make all of these fractions over 36. So our first fraction here, a half, will be 18 over 36, half of that. We have 17 over 36 already. 36 here, 6 times 6 makes 36, so 5 times 6 is 30. And here we must multiply by 2 to get 18 times 2, 36. So our numerator here is 10. So we're looking for the smallest. So we have 18, 17, 30 and 10. So our smallest number is 5 over 18, this one here. The second smallest is 17 over 36, which is here. The next smallest number is the 18 over 36, which is the half. We write down the fractions that are given to us in the question. And here, lastly, the biggest number is 5 over 6. What percentage of this shape is shaded? We can see here that we have 9 squares shaded out of a total of 15. So we need to get this as a percentage. So you may want to make it over 5. We can see here we divide by 3. So we divide our 9 by 3, which gives us 3 over 5. We can then make that an equivalent fraction over 10 by multiplying by 2. So we're going to get 6 over 10, which is the same as 60 over 100, which gives us 60%. You could also go straight from your 9 over 15 times by 100 for a percentage. The manager of a shoe shop recorded the size of each pair of shoes sold one morning. Here we have the information. The mean size of the shoes sold that morning is 5.35. The manager says the mean size of the shoes is not very useful. Explain why the manager is right. Well, having a number of 5.345 for a shoe size is not helpful because there is no shoe size of 5.35. Instead, we must have whole numbers or halves, which is what we have in the shops for shoe sizes. Better. Which is the more useful average for the manager to know, the median or the mode? We need to give our reason for the answer. Well, the most useful will be the mode because it shows the most popular size. And looking here at the information, we can see that the most popular size is 5. In a shop, the normal price of a television is £850. The shop has a sale. In week 1 of the sale, the price of the television is reduced by 20%. In week 2 of the sale, the price of the television is reduced by a further £50. Thomas has £625. Does he have enough money to buy the television in week 2 of the sales? So let's start off. First off, he has the initial price, which is £850. We're going to reduce, that's a decrease of 20%. So 100 subtract 20 is 80%, as our multiplier will be 0.8. So to find the price after week 1, the reduction, we multiply the original price by 0.8. That gives us our new price of £680. This is for week 1. For week 2, the price of the television is reduced by a further 50%. So this was the price at the end of week 1. We then subtract £50, and we're going to have then £630. So Thomas has, comparing that number, 630 to 625, we can see that Thomas does not have enough money. So no, he does not have enough money. He's £5 short. The length of the bus is 4.25 metres. Mark makes a smaller scale model of the bus. He uses a scale of 1 centimetre to 25 centimetres. So first off, let's convert the metres here into centimetres by multiplying by 100. We then need to work out how many 25s fit into 425. So 425 divided by 25 gives us 17. So this is going to be the length in the scale, 17 centimetres. Here are the weights in pounds of 15 adults. Show this information in a stem and leaf diagram. First off, let's have a look at the range of numbers we've been given. The smallest number is here, 121, and the largest number is here, 159. So the first part is to draw a line down and across. And then again over here, we're going to make a box for our key. So the smallest number is 121. So the first part of our stem will be 12, and then the 1 goes in the leaf part here to the right. The next number, we have another 121, so comma 1. We have 127, and then we have 128. So here we can see the numbers are in increasing order of size. Now moving on to 131, 2, 4, and then 2 6s here and here. So 6 and 6. For 140, we have a 140, so 0. We have 142, 3, and 4. For 150, we have a 150, so 0 here, and then lastly 9. Before we move on, let's just count the numbers we have here in the right-hand side part, which is the leaf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good. That corresponds with the number given in the question. It means we haven't missed any of our values. Before we move on, we need to complete the key to show what this table means. So for example, 13/4 equals 134. One of the adults is chosen at random. What is the probability that this adult has a weight greater than 130 pounds? Well, let's look at our information here. How many of the adults have a weight greater than 130? Well, we start here, and this number here is already above, because this is 131. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 11 out of the 15. So this is the probability. Write down the coordinates of point A. First we go across here on the x to 4, comma, and go up to 2. So the coordinates in brackets are 4, 2. X first, then y. On the grid, mark with a cross the point -3, that's x across here, and 0 for y. So we stay here on the x-axis. And we label this point B. Write down the coordinates of the midpoint of the line segment AB. Well, if we connect our lines here, we can look and see where the line is approximately halfway. By doing that, we can look here at our values. So we go across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So halfway will be 3.5 here. So that's at 0.5. The distance up is 2, so halfway is 1. So this point here on the line at 0.5, 1 is the midpoint. Another way of finding the midpoint of the line is to write down the two coordinates. So for A, that's 4, 2, and for B, that's -3, 0. We then need to add them together. So 4 adds -3 is 1, and 2 plus 0 is 2. Then we half divide by 2, 0.5 and 1. So we see here we've got the same answer. Work out 2/3 of 270. First we find 1/3, so 270 divided by 3, and then we multiply by 2. Or, putting straight into our calculator, 2/3 times 270. The answer we're going to get is 180. We then need to work out this sum here by putting all of these digits into our calculator in the correct order with the brackets, the power and the root sign. Doing that and writing down all the digits, you should get 134.38775558. Solve 8t plus 9 equals 15. First step is to subtract 9 from both sides. That leaves us just with 8t, and subtracting 9 from the right hand side leaves us with 6. We then divide through by 8, so 6/8. That answer here will give you the full marks. However, you may want to simplify to 3/4. Our first step to solve this equation is to expand the brackets by multiplying first. 7 times r is 7r. 7 times 6 is 42, equals 35. Then we continue like before. Subtract the 42 from both sides. 7r equals -7. Divide through by 7, r equals -7/7. This is perfectly acceptable for 2 marks, however you may want to simplify to -1. Factorising here we have 2 factors. Our numerical factor, which is 2, and here we have x in both terms, so x is also a factor. So outside the bracket 2 and x, inside the bracket here we have x plus 3y, close bracket. To simplify, when we have an indice and a power and another indice of power outside the brackets, we multiply our 2 powers. So we have h to the power 12. ABC is a straight line. The angle ACD is 38, shown here. The reflex angle, BCD, is 250. We're asked to find the angle marked X, and we need to give reasons for our answer. Okay, well, our first step is to find our missing angle here, and we do that by 360 degrees subtract 250, which tells us our angle is 110. So our first reason is that angles at a point add up to 360 degrees. It's easier if you write each reason as you go along. So now we have this angle, we can find the angle here. So we add up our two angles, 110 inside of the triangle, plus 38. Adding up these two gives us 148. We then can subtract that from 180, the total for a triangle, to give our angle of 32. So here we have 32 degrees. The reason we have used here is angles in triangle add up to 180 degrees. Okay, now last step to find angle x. We have here a straight line, add up to 180. 180 subtract our 32 is 148 degrees. So we have here angles on straight line add up to 180 degrees. Now alternatively, you may have used another rule which is around the exterior angle of a triangle. So this angle is equal to the sum of the opposite interior angles. So these two added up together equals this angle, which we would have seen here, the 148, when we added the 110 and the 38. Here are the ingredients needed to make 8 shortbread biscuits. Tarek is going to make some shortbread biscuits. He has the following ingredients. Work out the greatest number of shortbread biscuits Tarek can make with his ingredients. So we can see here that this is ingredients for 8. So our first step is to divide all of these by 8 to find how much for one biscuit. So 120 divided by 8 is 15. Caster sugar, 60 divided by 8 is 7.5. And the flour is 22.5. We're then going to compare each one of those with the amount we're given here and divide in to find out how many. So our first step here is 330 divided by 50, which gives us 22. Then we have 200 divided by 7.5, which gives us 26.6 reoccurring. And lastly, 450 divided by 22.5, which is 20. So we're limited by the smallest number. Even though with the sugar we can make 26 and a little bit of biscuits and the butter 22, we only have enough flour for 20 biscuits. So the greatest number of biscuits we can make is equal to 20. Aisha worked out this fraction added together, 3 over 8 plus 2 over 3. This is what she wrote down. The answer she got here is incorrect. Describe the mistake that Aisha made. So let's have a look here. The denominators are 7 and 3, and she changed them to 21. She tried to get equivalent denominators. So from 7 to 21 we multiplied by 3, so we multiply 3 by 3 to get 9. But we can see here that the 2 over 3, she has left here the same numerator. She forgot to multiply her 2 here by 7, because that's what she did to her denominator. So here we have that she forgot to multiply 2 by 7, the numerator by 7. Adam worked out this fraction multiplication. Here's his working out. We can see here that he first took the two numbers, the two whole numbers, 2 and 3, multiplied together to make 6. He then multiplied the fractions together separately and then put them together. The mistake that he has made here is that he did not convert his fractions, his mixed numbers, into improper fractions first. You cannot multiply the parts separately. So he did not convert the fractions to improper fractions first. He kept them as a mixed number. Maria is going on holiday to America. She changes £250 into dollars. The exchange rate is £1 equals $1.6. How many dollars should she get? So she needs to take her amount of pounds, 250, and multiply it by 1.6. So she will get $400. Maria wants to buy some music. She can buy the music in America or in Germany. The cost of the music in America is $29. The cost of the music in Germany is 21.50 euros. The exchange rates are £1 is equal to $1.60 and £1 equals 1.18 euros. In which country is the music cheaper? So we can compare by changing both the prices to dollars or both the prices to euros. So let's take a look first if we look at dollars. So the US for America, we have the price already, it's 29. So we need to then look at the price in Germany. So we have the price in euros, and then we need to find it in dollars. So our first step is to use the exchange rate here by taking £21.50 and dividing by 1.18. That will give us how many pounds, and then we times by 1.6. Putting that into your calculator should give you $29.15. So we can see here that it is cheaper in America. Alternatively, if you're working out, you may want to convert the dollar price into euros. We have the euro price, 21.50. If we were to convert our dollar price into euros, first off we do 29 divided by 1.6, and then we'd multiply by 1.18, which gives us 21.3875. And we can see here again that the US America price is a lower value than Germany, therefore it is cheaper to buy the music in America. 5 female giraffes have a mean weight of X kilograms. 7 male giraffes have a mean weight of Y kilograms. Write down an expression in terms of X and Y for the mean weight of all 12 giraffes. This is a combined mean. To do that, we take the number of females, the first category, multiplied by the mean, 5x. Add the other category, the number, 7 males, multiplied by the mean, in this case, y. And then we divide by the total number, 12. A solid cube has a volume of 64 centimetres cubed. Work out the total surface area of the cube. Our first step is to find the dimensions. Volume is equal to the length cubed. So we must do the cube root of 64. Putting that into your calculator will give you 4. You may know that already, that 64 is a cube number. It's 4 times 4 times 4. That means that our cube has a length of 4. So the area of one of the faces is 4 times 4, which is 16 centimetres squared. But we need to find the total surface area. In a cube, there are 6 faces. So we must multiply the area of one face by 6 to give us our total surface area of 96 centimetres squared. The diagram shows a straight line L1 drawn on a grid. A straight line L2 is parallel to the straight line L1. That means it has the same gradient and passes through the point 0, -5. Find an equation of the straight line L2. So first off, let's take a look at the line L1. The gradient of the line L1 we find by going across 1, and we look here, we go up half a square. This means the gradient is a half x. We then see that the y-intercept, when x is equal to 0, is going to be here, -5. So this is our equation of L2. It has the same gradient because it's parallel to L1, but passes through the point, the y-intercept here, at -5. Here we're told that n is an integer, a whole number, and asked to write down all the possible values of n. Our first step is just to look at the left-hand side. So we will rewrite, and we will solve for n. To do that, we divide by 4, so -9/4. We then solve for the right-hand side using this part here. For n is less than or equal to 12, divide by 4 again. We have n is less than or equal to 3. Now remember, it needs to be a whole number. So we can see here that 9/4 is 2 point something. So we've got our negative here, 2 point something. So it's going to be the smallest possible number is -2. Then -1, 0, 1, 2, and also 3, because we have another line here under the inequality for less than and equal to 3. ABC is a triangle here. It's an isosceles triangle because we have these two lengths have a dash on, which means that they are the same length. We then have a trapezium shown here. We're told that the perimeters of the two shapes are the same and asked to work out the area of the trapezium. Well, first off, we need to get an algebraic expression for the perimeter of the triangle. So we add up the three sides of the triangle, which is equal to 14x plus 8. And then here for the trapezium, we have the four sides added together, gives us 18x subtract 6. And these two are equal. It says that the perimeters of the two shapes are the same. So this perimeter is equal to this perimeter. So let's write that. 14x plus 8 equals 18x subtract 6. We're then going to solve for x. So first step, add 6 to the right hand side here. 14x, 8 plus 6 is 14, is equal to 18x. Subtract the 14 from both sides, x, 14x, we're then left with 14 equals 4x. Then divide through by 4. 14 divided by 4 equals x, which is 7 divided by 2, which is 3.5. Now we know the value of x, we can work out the area of the trapezium. For the area of the trapezium, we need to know the sum of the two sides added together, multiplied here by the height, multiplied by a half. So let's substitute in 3.5. Well, 3.5 subtract 1 is 2.5. And here we have 7 multiplied by 3.5, subtract 7 is 17.5. And here 4x is equal to 14. So to find the area, we're going to have half multiplied by the sum of the parallel sides, 2.5 plus 17.5, multiplied by the height, 14. This gives us an area of 140 centimetres squared. Paul plays 2 games of tennis. Each time he plays a game of tennis, the probability that he will win is 2 over 5. Therefore, the probability he does not win is 3 over 5. Completing the tree diagram, we have further branches here for win and not win. The probability remains the same, so 2 over 5 and 3 over 5. And repeats here for win and not win. 2 over 5 and 3 over 5. Calculate the probability that Paul wins at least one of his 2 games of tennis. There are 3 ways in which this can happen. First, win followed by a win. Second, win followed by not win. And third, not win followed by a win. So the easiest way to calculate the total probability of these 3 is to calculate the probability that he does not win, which will be 3/5 times 3/5, which is equal to 9 over 25. And subtract that from the total probability of 1, which gives us the probability of 16 over 25.